Devil is on his way. Devil is on his way, motherfucker. The devil gonna make you pay. Fall to your knees. Devil is on his way. Fall to your knees. Devil gonna make you pay. Fall to your knees. Devil is on his way.
Mountain Murders is an Appalachian true crime podcast. Some content may not be suitable for all listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
We say fuck a lot. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to Mountain Murders. I'm Heather.
And I'm Dylan.
How are you, Dylan?
I'm doing fine.
Man, we are just zipping through the month of November. It is almost halfway through the month, and I think where have the last 2 weeks gone?
I'm telling you.
Time flies.
Time is literally flying right now.
It flies when you are working your ass off.
Time flies when you're scrambling around to have the necessities of life.
It's true. I don't even know what month it is. I'm still thinking it's October.
I understand that feeling.
Thanksgiving approaching.
Yeah, and the way it seems is like, you think, oh, wow, that's like, a couple of weeks away. Boom, it's just going to be here. And then next thing you know, bam, Christmas down your throat,
Yeah, all the Christmas shit's already out. I've been hearing Christmas music in stores. I dread. If I have to listen to Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas ever again, I might hurt someone.
When I listen to that song, it makes me think about my love for you. So I'm looking forward to hearing it again.
You are so full of shit.
And I have been accused of being
Jolly?
A Grinch. No.
Oh yeah, you are kind of a Grinch.
Or you call me a bah humbug, if you will. But this year I think I'm going to embrace it. I'm not going to complain about Christmas music or the fact that they had the stuff out, like pushing the Halloween. That does bug me. You can't even enjoy your Halloween season because they're pushing it out already. But I'm going to lean into Christmas this year.
You are?
I'm going to be a jolly fat man with a sack.
Yeah, he's so stingy. He doesn't want to buy anybody gifts. I'll talk about getting stuff for the kids, and you're like, well, just get them one thing. And I'm like, what? And you're like, it's too commercialized. You are such a Grinch.
It is a Rockefeller Christmas, but see, you've already veered me off my path. I don't care about that. It's going to be jolly. I'm going to revel in the wonderment of the young ones.
Well, now we're in this big house, so I really want to go all out and decorate.
Yes, and I have a little one, my little granddaughter, Kalani, and I can just live vicariously
She's
through
old
her.
enough. She just turned 3, so she's old enough to really enjoy Christmas this year.
This is going to be a big one.
I think it's going to be really fun.
Yes.
Because it's going to be great watching her open gifts and her excitement. And, of course, the older kids all sullen as they open their incredibly expensive gifts that they ask for.
It does get simplified when you can just get them that one $600 or $700 electronic or just hand them a handful of money.
Yeah.
It just gets simple.
It's true.
Okay, so enough of that. We have a little bit of breaking news this week and a half.
Fill us in, Dylan.
Yes, and I think we've all heard of the organization Adventures with Purpose. If you have not, I've learned a little bit about how they started.
Okay, so is this Outward Bound or something? Explain it to me.
Well, no, they started.
This is the one that solves cold cases.
They find one. They famously find cars in bodies of water.
Oh.
Okay, so they actually began. I did not know this as more of an environmental. From a more of an environmental standpoint, they would clean up things. They would dive, haul out debris, water, or cars out of bodies of water and clean them up. And they started realizing that they had a YouTube channel. And the guys who started it realized that the ones where they pull out cars and stuff got a lot of views. And so they started doing more of that. Well, then they accidentally discovered human remains in one of the salvaged vehicles.
Accidentally? Now that's something to stumble upon.
Well, I mean, they were not out looking for
right,
human
I know.
Yeah, I know, right? So you pull this old wrecked car out and boom, there it is.
Oh, snap.
Well, that video blew up. So they were like, wow, people are into this. And that metamorphosized into, hey, we're going to go out and help solve cold cases. If it's a missing vehicle, bodies of water, that's our expertise. We're going to do it.
So they primarily do like search and rescue, like a dive team.
Yes.
Right. And the most recent was the, what's her name? Kylie Rodney.
Kylie Rodney. They found her, even though I think this kind of, shot them even more into the public light, and they proved their talent because the authorities were using all the resources to search for Kylie and her vehicle at the same time. And these guys came right in there and found her and recovered her remains and got the car out and all that. And so a lot of people started talking about, more people started talking about them. And I think to date they've helped solve somewhere in the neighborhood of 24 to 26 missing person cases. And that's pretty incredible. And a lot of these cold cases, someone's been missing for years, and they just they use their expertise to kind of zero in where they might be, and they're really good at what they do. Recently, very disturbing news has broken concerning Adventures with Purpose. One of the co-founders,
Jared
Lessig. I'm going to say it like that. I think it's Lessig. Jared Lessig has been charged with the rape of a 10-year-old when he was 17 years old.
Wow.
And I don't know how... That's horrifying. Okay? So they've done a lot of good stuff there, and he started being in the videos less and less. People were kind of wondering what's going on, and then this news broke about the charges. And what do you think about that, Heather?
Well, there have been some leaked emails that have hit the press, and in one of those, he told his alleged victim that he had, quote, made peace in my life with all the things bad, including this. And these messages were very patronizing jabs at the victim.
Yeah.
He's blaming the way he grew up and his family history and their association or, belief in Mormonism.
Nobody ever told me I shouldn't rape a 10-year-old. Man, fuck.
So this was back in 1992.
Yes.
Right? And so he's been charged with 2 counts of rape of a child in Utah. And he apologized to his victim in a February email exchange. And he sent it from the official Adventures with Purpose email account.
See, that's not a good look for them and or for the organization. And one quoted as saying in one of the emails, "I'm so very sorry for the things that we cannot change." Right?
Yeah, so he's totally blaming his upbringing and some of his family, saying, like yourself, I was once a victim by multiple people, both in and out of the family. It is unfortunate when families like ours experience molestation. Sounds like he's not really accepting any responsibility for what he did.
No, and that is true. A lot of times the victim can become the perpetrator in this type of abuse, but I just don't understand why there's no accountability. There's no remorse. It doesn't seem to be, right? So, and I was talking to you earlier, I was saying, unfortunately, this case, this horrible situation, is going to kind of detract from the good that Adventures with Purpose has done.
Right.
We've gave them kudos multiple times on the podcast, talked about what great work they've done. So my only hope is, well, for one thing, I hope that this brings some kind of, however the court proceedings and all this works out, some kind of something healthy for the victim out of all this, some kind of a justice maybe. And I hope that Adventures with Purpose can continue, minus Jared, the child rapist.
Yeah, I mean, he's 46 now. And in the emails that I was referencing, he says, quote, that it's unrealistic for a 46-year-old man to have to live the mistakes of a child. And quote, thank God we are not forever judged for our actions as youth. And I'm grateful that many of us cousins acknowledged and stopped those sins which happened to us and those sins we once committed as a result of grooming. I have made peace in my life with all the bad things, including this. Now look, I get where he's coming from in that people do make mistakes when they're young and you can't forever be held accountable for, or not held accountable, but, when you're 50, you're not the same person you are at 15. And I get that. But at the same time, I feel like he is totally not accepting responsibility for what he did or really admitting fault. He's trying to blame or make excuses for his behavior, and it's reprehensible.
Well, I think that's the worst part, and a lot of victims don't become the perpetrator. Okay, a lot of us, I was victim of molestation. Okay, a lot of us are, and as Heather pointed out to me one time, it's almost harder to find someone who wasn't.
It's true.
Than someone who doesn't have some situation.
Of my inner circle, there are very few of my friends, associates that don't have an experience with some sort of sexual abuse.
Yeah, but
as children or adults, it's widespread.
Some people do become the perpetrator, and that really gets into the strange gray area that's kind of tricky to talk about. Because I think everyone knows how we feel here at Mount Murders about abusers, and especially towards children, okay, and women. We think they're pieces of shit.
Yeah,
okay?
We're, in the words of Dee Snider, we're not going to take it.
We're not going to take it. But I think the condescension and just the lack of accountability,
exactly.
These are the what's shining through in these emails is the even worse, makes it even worse.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally, I've moved on from this. You should too.
It's not coming from a place of...
It's not really my fault.
Yeah, no. Instead of, I can't believe I did this to you.
I mean, if it seemed like a more heartfelt apology of someone who is truly, truly, truly like disgusted with themselves
yes.
and remorseful for what they had done, then I might be like, I see what he's saying about, I'm a grown man now and I've changed my life and I'm so sorry for what I did to you and I could never, I know I could never change this, but is there a way I can make this better for you or whatever?
Yeah.
Then I might be like, okay. But these emails are just so like, well, I'm over it. You should be too.
It's I, me in the emails.
Yeah.
I can't, how this affected me.
Focused.
And so I'm sorry in this situation, I'm going to call this guy shitbird.
Yeah,
okay.
He is. But I do agree with you that this organization has done some really great things, and I hope they're able to continue their work because it's so important to have those search and rescue and these dive teams, and they have done some really good things, but maybe just without him.
Yeah. Well, they've done some incredible things, and they're really good at it. Okay, and I think they've actually seems to me, in the past, authorities have been reluctant to work with some of these outside organizations. Kind of, you get in this pissing contest.
Seems like they're embracing it more.
They do seem to be embracing it more, and organizations like Adventures with Purpose seem to be helping kind of tear down those walls.
Okay, Dylan, so that is an interesting story. Thank you for updating us on this piece of true crime information. Let's get into today's case. This is what people tune in for. They want to know. We have a very interesting, really fascinating case, actually, out of Ohio.
All right.
Where we're going to be all month long.
Let's do it.
Talking about some Appalachian true crime in Ohio. This is an older case, and I like those historic cases.
You do like them, and I like them too. For one, to see how kind of society has evolved along, and the true crime does the same. As we evolve, the stories change, circumstances change, and I find that element very interesting.
We're going to be talking
about
a lady killer today.
Oh, no.
I mean, as in a lady who kills. A killer lady.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? Anna Marie Hahn was born July 7th, 1906 in the town of Fussen, I'm probably saying that incorrectly, in Bavaria, Germany, to George and Katharina Filser. She was the youngest of 12 children.
I just don't know how they did it back then.
Good God.
I seriously don't.
I don't either. That poor woman's bladder after pushing out 12 kids.
And just with
She's probably just pissing on herself at this point.
the medical care and you know, and all that, the type of medical care available, it's just, I mean, my God, she has to be inhuman to push out 12 babies.
You're right. This is Wonder Woman we're talking about. She was the youngest of these 12 children, 9 of them being boys.
9 boys, 3 girls.
Yes.
Wow.
I think I might take the 9 boys over 9 girls.
Well, you would need that back then.
Girls are tough, I think. Anyway, at the time of her birth, Anna Marie's parents had already lost 3 children. 2 of their sons would go on to perish during the brutal fighting of World War I. George was a cabinet maker and a furniture manufacturer by trade. Fusen was nestled a few miles north of the snow-capped Alps by the Lech River. It was known for world-class flute and violin makers.
Wow.
Right? It's pretty cool. It was also known for the towering white Neuschwanstein.
I bet you did that perfect.
Neuschwanstein Castle, which was the last home to King Ludwig II of Bavaria. Devout Catholics, they raised their family piously in the church. Being the youngest girl, Anna Marie was her mother's favorite, and she was spoiled accordingly. Anna was also close with her sister Katie, or Caddy. As a young child, she fell ill with blood poisoning and was hospitalized for 5 months. Doctors thought Anna Marie would die several times, but somehow she managed to pull through. After the sickness, Anna Marie had a goiter removed along with her thyroid. The illness caused Anna Marie's mother to dote on her even more. And if she was spoiled before this, after she was sick, she got away with murder.
Now,
just about.
Who in the world came up with the word goiter?
I don't know, but it just sounds unpleasant.
It sounds unpleasant, and I've known people that have had one, and it's not good.
Right.
Very uncomfortable. You're going to be, you may even be self-conscious about the fact it's on, there. They get huge, and oh my God, it looks painful, and it's just very strange to me.
Yeah.
And just at some point, someone's like, "I'll call it a goiter. Let's do it." I classify that, and we'll move along. But I classify
this is my goiter. I named her Brenda.
That word can go with moist and all these other unpleasant words that nobody really wants to say, but they make you feel something when you say it or hear them.
Yeah.
Yeah, goiter.
Anna attended a parochial school and church. She was not a good student, but did well in homemaking skills like sewing and cooking. But when it came to actual academics, math, science, writing, she didn't really care about that stuff. By the time Anna Marie was a teenager, she was acting out and rebelling. She would stray from her parents' home to seek out parties. Anna Marie was accustomed to getting her way and rarely told no. So when her parents didn't give her permission to go out, she would sneak out late at night. Anna dropped out of high school, but would later tell people she had graduated from, quote, teaching school.
Oh, nice.
Eventually, her parents shipped her off to Holland to live with her sister, Caddy, who was a newlywed. Hoping this move would straighten out her discipline problems, Anna Marie was enrolled in a private school in Holland, but she found herself pregnant out of wedlock by the time she was 18.
I was in very similar circumstances when I was 18.
You were pregnant?
And out of wedlock. I was always the bridesmaid, never the bride. This happens sometimes.
Well, until I came along, baby.
Until you took me off the market.
And I saw what kind of cat you were.
And, I think a lot of people don't realize this. There was almost anarchy in the streets when this eligible bachelor got hemmed up and married.
It's true. And actually, one of our listeners who started the podcast recently sent us $1 via PayPal and said it was just for Dylan, not for Heather, so that you could buy yourself a Jolly Rancher and a can of Beanie Weenies, because apparently there was an episode in the very beginning where I told you not to have a Jolly Rancher in your mouth while we were recording.
Now, I hope this. I'm going to look back and see exactly
from Nathan.
From Nathan,
yeah,
Nathan.
So I guess I'm going to consider that like a like Dylan's gift. It could be like a wedding gift to you.
We are going to spend that dollar, Nathan, on some Jolly Ranchers.
He's going to buy some Jolly Ranchers.
I'm going to buy some Jolly Ranchers. And I agree with you, Nathan. I should be able to have Jolly Ranchers or a can of beans. I appreciate how far back Nathan has taken this. I should be able to have both those things while we're recording. I just don't get it.
Dylan, the truth is you are the gift.
Yeah?
That keeps on giving.
Baby, get over here and unwrap this.
I don't have to. You unwrap yourself and then leave traces all along the house.
Oh, enough of that.
You're like a child with a trail of clothing behind you, like Hansel and Gretel, and some breadcrumbs.
I'm some bitter child who smokes cigarettes and works shift work.
Exactly. It's true.
I'm fueled on hate and bitter coffee.
So she's pregnant out of wedlock. It was on May 31st of 1925 that Anna gave birth to her son, Oscar, which I love the name Oscar.
I like Oscar.
It's a great name.
It is.
It reminds me of the Grouch.
Well,
but also it's just a really great name.
It is.
She would never reveal the identity of the child's father, though it was speculated he was an Italian doctor. She embarrassed her family with being an unwed mother, and the community shuns her. Scandalized, Anna's parents, while keeping their grandson, send their daughter to Cincinnati, Ohio, to stay with an aunt and uncle.
You know, that seemed to happen a lot more back in the day. They would just, send kids to stay with family in a whole nother area or region. Do you think, I know that happens nowadays, but it seems like quite a bit more prevalent back then.
I think like unwed mothers, teenage pregnancies, it's not such a big deal today. It's not so scandalous.
It's true.
So back in the day, yeah, families would be like out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, they
didn't want everyone to know what was happening.
I'm fairly certain there were even institutions where you could send your daughter to like basically finish.
There's like homes for unwed mothers and stuff. Yeah.
Finish the pregnancy, birth the child, and then kind of come back home.
And they would often adopt those children out from this. Yeah.
Could you imagine all the poor young women who were forced into those circumstances?
Oh, there's been multiple documentaries made about these like homes for unwed mothers and these forced adoptions, and the Catholic Church being involved in these places in like Ireland and these workhouses.
Oh my gosh.
And, anyway, yeah, it's not pretty. So she's going to go to Cincinnati. Her father would have abandoned her altogether, but it was his wife that kind of pleaded for mercy. So she boards a second-class cabin on the SS Munchkin.
Wait, is it the SS Munchkin?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to...
I think it's the Munchkin. I don't know. We all know that I'm goofy here.
I want to charter a trip on that.
Well, so she boards... We're going to just call it the SS Munchkin for Heather purposes. And she's bound for New York City. Arriving in the city, Anna had little baggage and a few secrets. She caught a train from New York to Cincinnati. Anna was enthralled by the city. It was vastly different from the small Bavarian village where she had grown up. She's just like in awe of these tall buildings and the hustle and bustle and all the people. And, she's immediately like, I love the USA.
Yeah, I'm sure.
At the time, Cincinnati was the Midwestern center of industry and culture with a population of nearly 500,000. Anna moved into the German district with her Aunt Anna and Uncle Max. Doschel was their last name. She was expected to get a job immediately as her uncle had actually paid her passage on the boat and the train, which came to about $236, considered a small fortune in those days.
I was going to say that was a significant amount of money back then.
And Uncle Max expected to be repaid. She had waited 2 years on a visa, but was finally here. In 1929, 23-year-old Anna is alone in a new country. She quickly falls ill once she arrives. And so it's around the end of February of 1929 that she gets scarlet fever and is basically down for about 3 weeks with this illness. She spends about a month at her family's residence at 3540 Evanston Avenue. The house was also shared with her aunt and uncle, along with her cousins, Ida, and her husband, Richard Pfeffer. Uncle Max told her as long as she was a good girl and did what is right, she would have a home there. But guess what?
She's not.
Anna is not a good girl.
She's not a good. She's a bad girl.
She wants to be bad. She's like, I heard you like bad girls, honey.
Yes. Sign me up.
I'm terribly bad.
Ooh.
Naughty.
Ooh, are you fiscally responsible?
No, I'm very fiscally irresponsible.
Do you file your taxes?
Sometimes. So then
That's
Anna.
So bad. I'll wait till after April 15th. I file my taxes in June.
Look, I'm a bad girl, but I don't litter.
Oh, environmentally conscious.
Yeah.
Oh, I appreciate that.
I draw the line at littering. Then Anna swiftly departs. She runs away, as she would describe it, moving without a word to anyone into a room on Walnut Street. Anna rarely saw her family after moving out, and they quickly realized she had no intentions of paying back the money she owed.
Oh, so she's just like, I've got over here. I got my, my little, got my groove going here. And she's just like, screw you guys.
She's like, fuck you guys, I'm going home.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
So she moves out into this little, like, a boarding house type of place, gets a little tiny apartment, more like a room. Uncle Max did note that Anna had purchased herself a lot of new things in the month that she lived with them. So she had acquired quite a few things. So she seemed to be doing well, very well, but not well enough to pay him back.
So Uncle Max is fuming.
And he was annoyed.
Right. So
because she's got new hats and gloves and purses and dresses, but she ain't got 5 on that 236 he loaned her. Right? No 5 on it.
No, she does not have 5 on it. And I could see that being infuriating. I mean,
Well, yeah.
honestly, from the family member standpoint, you've spent, just an incredible amount of money to get her over here, opened up your home to her, to improve her circumstances.
Exactly.
And she's basically like, screw you, and like, and being very irresponsible. So I would be beside myself.
Happy to be free of her family, she can finally do as she pleases. It didn't take long for the young woman to find a stream of admirers who were always willing to give her a few bucks for rent money or hand over money for their dates to the racetrack.
Oh, wow.
It is in the spring of 1929 that Anna begins gambling. She first bet $1 in Latonia, Kentucky, and ended up winning $260.
She could have took care of Max.
She could have.
In one lick.
This cash infusion was thrilling, and Anna uses stolen funds from her employer sometimes to gamble. She loved racetracks and casinos. She dreamed of winning big one day, and that this money would allow her to bring Oscar to America, and they would be able to live the life that she dreamed of. Now, eventually, Anna gets a job working at the Hotel Alms in Cincinnati. It's a very swanky hotel, and we actually talked about this hotel some episodes ago. There was a gentleman, I can't even remember the episode now, the case, but he was kind of a well-to-do gentleman. He had a sister. He ends up getting robbed and killed.
Oh, yes.
They find his body, like, in a river, I think, or parts of his body. Well, his sister lived at the Hotel Alms.
Okay.
In that story. So it's like super swanky hotel. This is where, like, all the fine folks in town go to hobnob. They host ballroom dances and that kind of thing.
I got hobnobbed down there by the Hotel Alms.
You got hobnobbed at like a Night's Inn in a $35 room.
Not a Super 8 out near the airport.
Yep.
Yeah. You're shooting pretty bad when you like you expect a nice hotel, but then it's like right off the exit out by the outlet malls. It's like we went to, what was that, in a loft, I think it was. And those are okay. They're these little, what would you call,
boutique hotels.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you, you know what boutique hotel means? Small, weirdly laid out rooms. Okay, that's what boutique hotel means. but it was just so far away from downtown and away from anything. But it was convenient to what we were doing. I think we were going to Brushy Mountain State
Penitentiary. Oh, yeah, we stayed at the Yellowloft in Knoxville.
Yeah, Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary.
Yeah.
Or did I always say it wrong? Brushy Creek?
We get, yes.
Yeah, but anyway.
We get what you're saying.
Yeah, and then, but you're just, you're down from the Walmart. It's quite different.
Okay, well, the Hotel Alms in Cincinnati is not like that, Dylan.
Okay.
It's a nice, like, 5-star type of place, fancy schmancy. So she gets a job working there, like doing housekeeping and whatnot. She continues living beyond her means and is often borrowing money from friends to cover her lifestyle and also gambling because she fucking loves the horses.
So she's making these financial licks and stuff, but she's not being responsible with the funds. She's not. Well,
you know what they say, Dylan? Easy money, easy go, right?
Easy come, easy go.
You know what I'm
but
saying?
it's about easy money.
Yeah, I know it's easy come, easy go, but I'm just trying to make it about money. God damn. Okay.
So, I mean, she could actually have probably already set herself up.
Paid back her uncle.
Paid her uncle
Exactly.
back, bring Oscar over, and really live this life. But she's obviously likes gambling, and she's caught up in this this lifestyle.
And borrowing money from friends,
Yeah.
never a good thing.
And she's not reliable. She's not going to pay you back.
Soon, Anna meets a 71-year-old retired banker named Charles Oswald. Anna convinces him that she was a nurse in Germany, so he hires her to work in his home. She gives up her rented room and moves into his apartment located at 340 East 14th Street. Anna told friends she would be caring for her Uncle Charlie.
Uncle Charlie.
Oswald had lost his wife on April 3rd of that year, so he was very lonely and desperate for companionship. And, of course, here's this pretty, blonde, young woman
Yup.
comes along and is paying him all kinds of attention.
And saying she's a nurse and that she can help take care of him, look after him. So in his eyes, this is perfect, right?
Yeah. Anna provided the man with home-cooked meals, housekeeping, along with flirtatious company. The elderly man begins falling in love with Anna. She leads him on, telling him one day they can get married, but she has no intentions of following through with her promise. Instead, Anna begins stealing money from him. She agrees to marry him in November of that year, but first says she needs a token of trust from him.
I'm going to need you to give me the combination to your safe, and this is going to prove that you trust me and love me.
Exactly. So she asks for 99 shares of his Union Gas and Electric stock in her name, and he willingly agrees. Anna is spending up to $50 a day of her benefactor's savings at the racetrack, an amount that took most people like a week to earn. And she's spending that in a day.
Yeah, here again, that she actually, and Anna's pretty smart.
So by today's money, this would be like probably $2,500 a week or something that she's spending at the racetrack.
Yeah, and again, here's an opportunity, and she's not playing around. She's going after the portfolio. You know, Anna's shooting big.
Standards, yeah.
And here's another thing that could be, if you played it wise and, you did half of what you say you're going to do with this man or for him, you could improve your life, get your son over here and all that. But she's
living rent free at this man's apartment. So all she would have to do is save her wages.
Yeah, save your wages
for a couple of months, right?
Now you have some stock that you can fall back on, but Anna's just out of control.
Anna becomes well known in the Elmwood Place neighborhood, which is known for its illegal gambling at the time. She meets handbook operators, which are essentially bookies, along Vine Avenue, which is mostly run by the mafia. With money in her pocket and plenty of free time to do what she pleased, Anna would stroll around Cincinnati and often hang out at the nearby Coney Island amusement park, usually with some young man in tow. The 120-acre park was located about 10 miles east of Cincinnati. There were rides and a huge swimming pool that could accommodate 10,000 swimmers at a time.
What?
Yeah.
My God.
It had roller coasters and a midnight garden dance hall, and also the racetracks known as River Downs.
Well, I kind of want to go there.
I know. Sounds
I want to see this
pretty
pool.
fun.
Because that's got to be the largest pool I've ever even imagined.
Yeah, no, it seems like it was a big ass, like lake-sized pool or something. Which it might have been a lake, I don't know. But back then they'd call it a pool.
When they were really into there for a time in American history, man-made lakes and parks connected to it, and it's almost like there was a swim culture kind of developed in our society. You know what I mean? You see that a lot. People spending their...
Well, yeah, and a lot of these amusement parks.
Yeah.
Because Shawnee Amusement Park up in West Virginia that's allegedly haunted, it had like a big swim. They called it like a swim pool, but it was basically like a pond.
Yeah.
Where people would go, and not only would they ride these like roller coasters and swings and whatnot, but they would go swim.
Yeah.
Like that was part of the amusement. I am amused.
I am slightly amused. They're doing a very fine job
this
today.
Backstroke is not just slightly amusing, it's very amusing.
Yes, Jeremy is swimming. Look at him.
Yes, he's got on his ankle pants and he's swimming. He's doing a great job. So after moving in with Oswald in summer of 1929, Anna met another German immigrant named Philip Hahn, who was a telegraph operator with Western Union. Hahn was quiet, unassuming, and the type of guy who could easily be dominated by a strong-willed woman.
Ah, yes. I see you know your manipulation well.
Yeah. Some folks might call him a beta.
So it is the perfect person for Anna to sink her claws into.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
She's going to basically come on strong.
Rule the roost.
Wash over this guy and just, mold him like putty to whatever she wants.
Exactly. So a few months later, they met again at the Marie Antoinette ballroom at the Hotel Alms and began dating after they met at this dance for the second time. Anna set her sights on him. She told friends he was just the kind of man Oscar needed as a father. The pair married in Buffalo, New York on May 5th of 1930. She never told anyone, certainly not Oswald, that her plan was to finance her new life with this new husband with that $13,000.
Ah, yes.
That he was planning to leave her in his will. She'd already been drawing out money from his account, this $50 a day and shit. So she just assumed that everything he had was hers, this old man, that she's promised she would marry. So she never tells this old man that she's married. It's just the craziest damn thing.
So she's just lying to everybody.
Yeah.
And taking what she wants, what she can get. And I'm sure she has no remorse or no bad guilty conscience about it.
So along with her new husband, Anna travels back to Germany to collect Oscar so they can return to Ohio as a family. Her parents had been getting negative reports from their Ohio relatives about Anna's behavior while she was in Cincinnati, and they were quite unhappy about it.
You know Uncle Max has not let this go.
No.
And the more... And it probably is salt in the wound if they do see her like kind of living this semi-lavish lifestyle. You know what I mean? It's just, I'm sure word gets around.
Right.
There's only so many places for entertainment and, gambling, the track and things like that would be somewhere everybody goes. A lot of people go. And I'm sure word gets back to Max.
Well, and they kind of all stay in this German.
Right.
Like the Rhine.
Yeah.
Over the Rhine.
It's very interesting.
That's actually going to come up some of our story. But, there's this whole like German community in Cincinnati and they all live. I mean, she's not living that far away from her aunt and uncle.
Yeah, so people are going to talk.
Exactly.
And Max and the rest of his family and her family are going to know these things, and I'm sure they're not seen in a favorable light.
No.
It's just not how a lady acts and all that stuff, all that jazz, right?
Who you calling a lady, some bitch? Okay, so Anna had told Philip that Oscar's father was a, quote, shady married doctor from Vienna. So he didn't ask much about it. He just thought it was, quote, one of those things.
A shady married doctor from Vienna. That sounds very, I would have so many follow-up questions.
I would need to know more, exactly. But yeah, so when asked about it much later, he described it as, quote, he thought it was just one of those things.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. Just as well, he would have likely not gotten a straight answer from his wife, even if he had pressed for information. America but was beginning to spiral, but so was Anna. America's beginning to spiral into the Great Depression at this point, but Anna had other plans. She was going to do more than just survive. Her Uncle Max was still concerned that she had never repaid the money.
Of course.
So as you mentioned, he's still pissed.
Well, okay, so I mean,
I want my $2, like the newspaper boys in Better Off Dead.
From a realistic standpoint, America is you have an economic crash coming. Something people don't even realize how bad it is, what's coming. But you start feeling those economic pressures. Hey, guess what? People that owe you money, you kind of like to get that damn money. So here you have Anna who owes Max a significant amount of money that would probably really help him and his family out now. And Max has just been stewing about this shit.
Now, get this. Uncle Max mentions it to Oswald, where she's been staying and caring for this old man. And Uncle Max, knows him because, again, it's a very tight-knit German community. And Oswald tells him, well, I already gave her that money to pay you back.
Oh, my gosh.
So she took this money that Oswald gave her and, pocketed it. Yeah. But once again, Oswald, feeling bad for Uncle Max, pays off Anna's debt for a second time. But this time it does actually go to Uncle Max.
Only because Oswald gave it to him directly.
Her uncle would later say he regretted ever paying for her passage to America. The young couple, Philip and Anna, move into a small house at 6332 Savannah Avenue in the College District of the city. Since Philip Hahn worked nights, his bride was allowed to frolic during the day while he was sleeping, and she would often take her son along to place bets and when she borrowed money from friends. It took a year for Oswald to learn that Anna was married or that she had a son.
Damn.
She's still working for him. I guess she's not living with him anymore, but she's still working for him, and he never ever knows that she got married or that she has a child.
She's a full-on confidence man.
Oh, dude, she is.
Or confidence woman.
Grifter.
A grifter. She's a full-on grifter, manipulates everyone around her, the situations around her, to extract whatever she wants from it.
She sure as hell does, Dylan.
And these people that can do this are not stupid. They are very cunning and typically highly intelligent.
Well, you have to be.
You have to be to keep up with all your own bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To keep the scam straight.
I'm like, what? I told you what?
When he finds out that she's married and has a child, the old man filed a lawsuit on July 31st of 1931 saying that she was to repay the money that she had taken from him. But Anna managed to charm him once again into dropping the suit. Now, when he died in 1935, Anna received a $1,000 check from his insurance policy from the National Biscuit Company.
Nice.
I just had to include that. I didn't know the biscuit company sold life insurance.
So she still got a final payment from Oswald.
Right. So this $1,000 that she gets from this life insurance policy is all the old man had left out of all of his savings and stocks.
Because she ripped through it.
Yeah, because he was fairly well-to-do. And she totally drained him.
What the rate you were describing, things like the $50 a day and stuff like that, and she's been doing this for what, years now at this point?
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm sure she literally drained the old man.
She's just elder abuse.
And yes, it's certainly financial. What they call that? Financial abuse, financial manipulation. Exactly. And in the end, she got the last little bit he had left. I mean, that is pretty disgusting.
Philip Hahn was tired of working at Western Union, so Anna cashed in her stocks from Oswald, and they used that money to invest in a deli at 3201 Coleraine Avenue, which was in the Over the Rhine area. However, Anna nor Philip had a head for business. If there was any profit, Anna would spend it at the horse races. Police suspected Anna was running a betting operation out of the deli, although they could never actually catch her in the act. But they were suspicious.
Yeah, there's 6 big Italian guys that always have lunch there and carry on. Yeah, it's the mob.
But the deli had to close its doors. Undeterred, the couple opened another deli a few doors down at 3007 Coleraine Avenue. The second deli didn't fare much better, and though the couple seemed happy by outward appearances, they frequently argued about money. Eventually, the couple couldn't pay the mortgage on their Savannah Avenue house. So they're really struggling here financially. But it's because Anna has gambling problems.
Yeah, you have a gambling addict steering your finances or having a lot of control of them. And I think that's kind of funny. You know, the one deli doesn't make it and it closes down. So you just go a couple of doors down and open the new deli. I mean, how does that work?
I don't know.
You need like to bring a partner in which it wouldn't matter because Anna would never cede control, right? But you need someone who knows how to run a deli, right? You need a guy named Sal back there or something.
Philip noted that his wife wanted money, but didn't actually want to have to work for it.
I kind of share.
So he spends most of his time busting ass at the deli, like working long ass hours, and ends up doing the bulk of the work there.
And so she blows in the door in her big hat and her, jewelry and stuff on, and the gloves up to the elbows, and and just gets money out of the register and blows back out the door to go to the racetrack.
Well, her husband didn't understand her gambling habits, and then creditors came calling. And that's when Anna devised an easy but illegal way to get rich. Money wasn't the only thing the Hahns fought about. Philip suspected...
You did it.
that she was flirting with older men and had little time for him. But is running around town with all these older men flirting.
While Philip's grinding it out in the deli.
Yeah. So he seldom knows where his wife is going. She would be gone for hours at a time, day and night, often taking her son along on these trips. His sisters, who helped him out in the deli, witnessed several arguments between the couple, and one in which Anna shoved Philip after calling him, quote, a vile name. So they noticed that Anna was like physically abusive to Philip.
Yeah, she's steamrolling Philip. I mean, she pegged him from the beginning. This is someone I can easily control. Kind of use him to create kind of this facade of a family and get Oscar here and people, like you said. And
have stability because he's going to work and pay the bills.
Right.
And keep a roof over her head.
And every time some other scheme pittered out or, ran out, she could always fall back on Philip to, just get by because he's working his ass off. And like you said, it's an unfortunate phrasing, but he's just a beta. She saw him coming, right?
It's like a marriage of convenience.
Certainly is.
Convenient for her. Maggie, Philip's mother, did not get along with her daughter-in-law. She saw Anna Marie as highfalutin, who looked down on Americans and thought she was like better than everyone and considered all of the other immigrants dumb.
Damn. Okay. So she's just shit on every group.
Well, it seems like Anna would just like make these kind of comments to her mother-in-law about like basically working people. Like, what fools that you get up early and go to work, Yeah. Like but these are people who have something.
Well, it's just the way it works for most people.
Yeah. So Anna Marie thought she was better than the rest of the neighborhood. During one fight, Anna Marie kicked Philip in the leg. He was already hobbling around with stiff joints and hurt feet from working all of those long hours at the deli, and his mother had to send him to convalesce in Indiana at a spa.
Oh my God, one of those health sanatoriums.
Yes.
Damn, she must have fucked him. He's already walking around gingerly because he's literally working himself to death, and you just kick him in the leg, dude. That's cold.
That's cold.
If you kick me in my shins, man, it would be over.
I know. Sometimes I tell you, I will kick you in your soft shin, and then you're like, please don't.
Yeah.
I would never.
I'm hurting just thinking about it.
I know.
Let alone after like a long stint of shifts, physical shifts.
I don't understand your weird soft shins, bro.
Well, I won't get into it now.
Could never play soccer.
No. Or I see these people like kicking things with their shins and or the combat sports or kicking. I'm just like, no, it's never going to work for me.
He's like this big hulking man, but has like these tiny, delicate shins.
I have Achilles shins.
Okay.
Hey, go for his shins, man. It'll work.
Enough about your weird genetics. Maggie became ill when her daughter-in-law gifted her a box of chocolate-covered cherries. Over the years, the family came to believe that Anna Marie had not only poisoned Maggie, but possibly Philip too, after they both had illnesses. In early 1935, a suspicious fire broke out at the deli. See, I'm telling you, she knew a way to make some money. It didn't cause a lot of damage, but Anna still got a check for $300 from the insurance company. Then the Hahn residence caught fire, not once but twice, and the insurance paid Anna a little more than $2,000 for both of those incidents.
Yeah, insurance fraud ran rampant back in the day, you know. Even what is it? The Helen and Olga, the Dateline series. Yeah. They were finding, basically homeless men, befriending them and taking out insurance policies on them. And they knew exactly for the most part.
And what's her name? Dorothy Puente in California. She was scamming like Social Security, disability checks.
Yes, and I've even seen, I was actually listening to Dateline's coverage of the Murdoch family, Alec Murdoch. And I was like, well, I know the story, but I actually, Dateline's pretty good sometimes. And I learned about, he was doing insurance fraud through his clients. Like they would, he would get some huge settlement and he would give them like a couple $100,000 and he would get like millions of dollars settlements. And I think that's very disgusting.
Well, the home wasn't the only thing Anna was prepared to sacrifice for easy money. Philip was strongly opposed to the $25,000 life insurance policy his beautiful wife was trying to take out on him.
I bet he was.
Naming her as the beneficiary. Philip suspected that Anna was willing to do anything to get what she wanted. As time passed, Philip became increasingly paranoid about his wife. He was afraid of her, and he did have good reason. Not long after he refused to go along with the life insurance policy, Philip grew incredibly ill. He was vomiting, had a high fever, and constant pain. He asked his mother to take him to the hospital, despite Anna's insistence that she just go ahead and nurse him at home.
No, I'm getting the hell away from Anna. If I have to do it in the middle of the night, when she gives me the information about taking out the policy and then like a membership to the parachute club, I mean, Philip knows, even if I don't even think it's subconscious. He's watched her steamroll other people, manipulate people. He's got to know that she has this dark side to her. And you've got to get away from her, Philip.
Right.
Oh, my God. Could you imagine living in that type of fear of a family member, let alone your wife, who's directly there by your side and just not knowing that she's capable of these messed up things and just thinking that now you're on the target?
Well, I don't know. I was terrorized in my childhood by my parents. So, there were actually times that I thought we would be killed.
I'm sorry. Damn.
I mean, I laugh about it, but
well, you have to laugh.
I've talked about, I've had,
yeah.
I grew up in a significant domestic violence situation and.
That's scary.
Yeah.
I mean, really?
No, there would be messages on the answering machine making threats. And, I literally, as a child, thought that our house would burn down or that's, yeah.
And the scariest part of that is your home's your sanctuary. It's even if you don't have, a ton of guns and all that, when you go to your home and lock the doors.
And that's why I have crippling anxiety, PTSD, and a lot of mental illness, Dylan.
You go to your home and lock your doors.
No, it's true.
You expect a certain sense of security and to be safe. And when you have especially family members threatening that, you know that they can access your home, know where you are, know all your secrets, if you will. And that's very scary and unsettling. So poor Philip's living in terror.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
I mean,
he is.
And now he's having these, symptoms of being sick, probably violently sick, honestly.
Yes.
And, but he can't, and now he can't even physically get away from her because he's kind of stuck.
Well, Philip recovered, but upon his return home, grew distant from his wife. Anna realized that her husband was suspicious, so she decided to set her sights on another target. Anna would begin looking for work as a, quote, housekeeper and nurse once again. In 1932, Anna found work in a large brick house at 2590 Coleraine, owned by Ernest Kohler. He was a retired teamster. The house was so large that the man lived on the third floor and rented out apartments on the first and second floor of the Camp Washington home. And we've actually been to Camp Washington, Dylan. That's where we've had some delicious Cincinnati chili, Skyline chili.
Oh, yeah.
We went to that interesting diner.
Very.
And they had the George Washington in like lingerie painted on the side of the building.
Cincinnati's a really cool area.
Yeah, we like it there.
I did not realize until you've done some of these stories and I've learned more about Cincinnati that it was the center of kind of growth and everything there in Ohio. But it makes total sense. It's located there on the main
river.
The river
Right by Lake Kentucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So Philip and Anna moved into the house and rented 2 rooms from Kohler. While Anna kept house, Philip took a job driving a taxi at night. But again, Philip Hahn had little idea about what his wife was doing during the day when he was sleeping. While Philip wondered about his wife's moves, she was interested in learning more about Coller's savings. But like others, Collar was smitten with Anna's charms. Soon after she began working for him, Anna found her way into his will. Collar died on May 6th of 1933, and Anna inherited this huge-ass house, along with its furnishings and his savings of more than $13,000. Although his relatives were outraged that this strange woman received his possessions, there was little they could do as far as, legal moves because, he had a will and this was what he wanted. Dr. Arthur Voss, a tenant of Collar's, failed to lock his first-floor office door at the end of most days, a mistake which would prove to be fatal. Anna helped herself to blank prescription pads and was soon forging the doctor's name to obtain large amounts of medications from pharmacies all over Cincinnati. No one suspected Anna at the time, but Ernest Collier had been administered large amounts of morphine by his housekeeper.
Of course. Wow, she just does not give a damn.
Some friends thought perhaps Anna had poisoned him, but there were no signs of toxins in the esophagus, so the coroner had to rule it, as an accidental or like natural causes, and had even thought the man had throat cancer.
Yeah, they had limited availability of tests, toxicology tests and results and things like that. So a lot of their stuff was just visual. What they could see visually on the outside of the body or in the throat. So, yeah, she knows what she's doing.
He was cremated, and the remains were given to Anna Marie, who kept the urn on her mantle.
Damn.
Once Anna got away with murder, she sought out other conquests and victims. Oscar hung out with neighborhood children who were often seen at what is now the Hahn home, this big-ass house. Kohler had a pool table in the basement, so Oscar was often entertaining kids who described Anna Marie as a, quote, warm and wonderful woman, and she would always feed the kids generously in the kitchen, always making them like cookies, baking, giving them snacks, making sure they had some lunch. But some noted Oscar's mom was always out taking care of old folks.
Yeah, I bet.
Yet Oscar was known at school as being a mean little kid. He had difficulty making friends. On one occasion, a childhood friend recalled Oscar tying a boy's hands together and hanging him over a rafter in the basement, then shooting him with a BB gun in the buttocks.
Damn, that's pretty cruel.
He would hang cats on a clothesline out back and kill them when they were able to escape. He also had knives and a .22 caliber rifle that he shot off in the house one day. He was in trouble with the police for selling obscene pictures at school and was also caught stealing books from a store. Oscar seemed preoccupied with death, often drawing skulls, weapons, and various images of death.
Yeah, that's not strange at all. Well, I mean, that part sounds pretty cool. But Oscar sounds like a little asshole. You know what I mean? And I'm sure he was probably raised, doted on by Anna, made to kind of feel like they're better than other people, right?
Some people say we're raising lions, not sheep, but Anna's raising a psychopath, so it's cool.
She's raising an asshole.
Yeah. In the weeks following Collar's death, Anna scammed friends and neighbors out of money, sometimes their life savings. She continued passing herself off as a nurse for geriatric patients. She met 2 women, 48-year-old Hungarian immigrant Mrs. Krekske and a woman named Stina Cable, who was from Greensboro, North Carolina, while in a bus station bathroom in Cincinnati. Now, what she was doing in the bus station bathroom, I don't know, but she befriends these 2 women. Anna Marie was wearing a nurse's uniform on that day. She invited Stina Cable to a nearby saloon where they had beer and talked about mind readers and palmists.
Wow.
Only after Cable finished the beer did she realize something was amiss. She fell sick, unable to control her bodily functions. Anna encouraged her to stay in Cincinnati and not travel on to her destination, which was California, like telling her, oh, you can stay with me and I'll take care of you. But Stina was like, no, and continued on her trip, arriving in Los Angeles on July the 18th. And, Dylan, she had to be carried, like, off the bus by employees of the bus line and was taken to a hospital when she arrived. And she had been, like, incredibly sick the whole bus ride.
And up to that point of meeting Anna, she was fine, having this trip, healthy, everything's great.
But she's just, like, vomiting, doubled over with body pains. I mean, just feeling like she's dying. It took her a year to recover from this illness. Yeah. Like, she had effects for a year.
Yeah, she damn near killed her right there. Yep.
Anna swindled a nearly blind Mrs. Kreske out of hundreds of dollars over the course of a few weeks. So Mrs. Kreske filed a false pretense charge against Anna Marie for $800. Yet she refused to sign a warrant for Anna Marie's arrest, and the charges were dropped. Anna Marie prepared food for Mrs. Kreske, and the woman fell ill almost immediately afterward. She was taken to the Good Samaritan Hospital, where doctors noted she had blisters in her mouth. They suspected croton oil poisoning.
Oh, I was wondering what Anna's using. Well, you know, typically back then it was arsenic.
Yeah.
But crocinic oil, I've never heard of that.
Croton oil.
Croton oil.
They suspected it was that, but they didn't say anything to her. They just suspected it, but they never told the woman, we think you've been poisoned by someone. I don't know. It's weird why they wouldn't tell her that. But anyway, a boarder who lived in the same house as Mrs. Kreske watched his friend get sicker and sicker each time after having eaten food that was prepared and delivered by Anna Marie. He finally, after learning about this money that Mrs. Kreske was giving to her, he went to the Hahn house and demanded repayment of this money, or he was going to go to the police. So within a few days, Anna Marie paid back the $800. Mrs. Kreske moved back to Budapest and fell ill again, and it was determined that she had been poisoned, probably before she had left for Budapest.
Yeah, it seems like she's just accelerating her plans. It seems like she's doing this even more quickly with people, the poisoning and stuff. Almost like she's getting addicted to the power of it or something, not only for financial gain.
In 1936, 72-year-old Albert Palmer, a retired French railroad watchman, had met Anna at a casino in Cincinnati. They bonded over their mutual love of gambling and horse races. Soon, Anna was taking Palmer along with Oscar on these little day trips around the city, and she would invite him over for dinner at their house. Soon, Anna was working as his caretaker. Again, she moves really fast with this stuff, and borrowing money, quote, loans from the man with no intention of ever paying them back. Anna wrote him about a dozen letters, perfumed letters, by the way, and these were delivered by her son, Oscar. So she would write these letters and have Oscar deliver them.
Please run this down the street, Oscar.
The letters called him her sweet daddy and were signed with all the love and kisses from your sweet Anne.
Damn, sweet daddy.
I'm going to start calling you sweet daddy.
Am I your sweet daddy?
Yeah, you're my thick daddy.
Yes.
Yeah, thick daddy.
Ooh.
Thick and juicy daddy.
Don't forget sticky.
It's like a big old T-bone. So,
I'm a tomahawk, you son bitch.
You're something.
I'm a big old chunk of meat.
You're like a damn porterhouse. Once Albert Palmer began asking about his money, he fell violently ill after eating dinner at Anna's house. He had diarrhea and stomach cramps. He died on March 26 of 1937 from a mysterious illness. Of course, he had no records of the many loans he had made out to Anna.
See, all these people have these suspicions with these, patients being poisoned and stuff. It's just funny how no one's really pushing the envelope on these suspicions, bringing the authorities into it, telling them what they really think about it, or connecting it back to Anna.
In May of 1937, Anna turned up at the home of a 72-year-old retired gardener named Jacob Wagner. The blonde claimed to be his niece from the old country and said she had news of other relatives from Germany. But Jacob was skeptical. He wasn't interested in pursuing any kind of relationship with her and just basically was like, yeah, okay, cool, bye, right? But Anna was not dissuaded and began inserting herself into Wagner's daily life, like just randomly showing up for visits and like wanting to run errands for him. And
what the hell?
Yeah. So he was pretty quick to question Anna when his bank books and other valuables began disappearing from his house. When Anna took his bank book, it showed that he had $4,800. So she was like, well, look. And she gives him a bank book that has $15,000. And she's like, so if I have your bank book, you can have mine. And see, I've got more money than you. So why do I need, I'm not like trying to steal from you. I have my own money.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
But she didn't actually have any money in
Of
that
course,
account.
that's a forged bank book.
Yes.
And I would be like, well, cool. Take your $15,000 and go over there. And I'm going to stay over here with my $4,800, dude.
And then when his bank book was lost, she found it. But by now, Wagner had fallen prey to Anna's smile and her just sweetheart demeanor, Dylan, and was quick to forgive and forget. Only about 2 weeks after she came into her uncle's life, this fake uncle, this man she just targeted, he fell sick. A neighbor saw Anna pouring him a large glass of orange juice on a hot afternoon. A few hours later, Anna found the man in bed, writhing in pain. He was vomiting and passing blood. Anna waited several hours to call the doctor. 2 days later, Jacob Wagner was dead. Though Anna had only known him for 2 weeks, she was the sole beneficiary of his will and received $17,000.
Oh, man, come on, dude. 2 weeks?
2 weeks, bro.
Damn, that's cold. That is cold-blooded. And just watch someone that why they're sick and how bad it's going to be just to watch them slowly die and writhing in pain is monstrous.
You've got to give it to her, though. She is damn good at what she does.
I guess.
Okay?
I mean, it's horrible. It's horrible.
She's an evil genius.
Yeah. Okay.
These manipulation skills are diamond level.
I'm sorry. She has got to be touching the pee-pee or something. She's getting wormed in there too. And she's motorboating. Something's happening.
There was much speculation.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that. But there's much speculation that that's actually like what's happening here.
Right. Was she a looker?
Yeah. Well,
yes, she was.
One of her nicknames was the blonde Borgia.
Oh.
Yeah. But she's blonde. People at the time considered her very attractive, very pretty. And I guess by like 1920, 1930 standards of beauty, she was pretty.
Okay.
She doesn't have like the contoured face of today and the big puffy lips and stuff.
Well, no, the people were more elegant and what was truly pretty back then, I think.
Classically pretty.
Yes.
Classically beautiful. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, hot,
Well, plus, beauty changes over the course of time. If you look at someone like Mary Pickford or Claire Beau, that were considered like the beauty of their day, they look very different from, say, Ava Gardner or Marilyn Monroe, who looks very different from Twiggy, who looks very different from Cheryl Tiegs.
Right.
Or Farrah Fawcett. I mean, we see how beauty changes, or what is considered attractive changes over time.
We've talked about this before. People had more class, men and women. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was talking to my coworker the other day, and he's someone who definitely, he dresses very dandy, I would say. Very nice, tailored. He always wears a hat, like a gentleman. And I find that very cool.
Hey, whoa.
I like style.
What?
Well,
I wear hats.
No, I mean like a nice
It's the
hat.
back. Oh, not my hats aren't nice.
No, you've got
My hat smells. What you're
got
saying?
a ratty ass ball cap that's like falling apart.
Hey,
It's
that's
like
my lucky hat.
duct taped together.
Okay, you
We
show
had
me
this-
where this dandy
We had
lives.
this conversation, and he was saying how casual people are today.
Yeah.
And he was like, back in the day, like if you were traveling, you're flying on an airplane, like men wore suits for this.
Right.
And women went all out. And he's like, you went to dinner, you dressed in your best. And how nowadays, people will just wear the damnedest thing out in public, pajamas to go eat in. And
well, we'll be at the bar and be like, you'll see some guy obviously or gal trying, obviously there to look for, some
on the prowl,
and they'll just have like a fucking stained hoodie on and some Crocs, and you're just like,
well, most of the fellas are like in what they wore to work.
Yeah.
And it's like a Saturday night. So I'm thinking, I know you ain't been at work and they don't smell nice.
Yeah. You've been in the garage all day. You think you could have took a shower?
And they're not groomed. And yeah.
Not this fat dandy. Yeah. I smell good.
You do. You're a smelly good guy.
I have a saying I live by. Well groomed equals well loved.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey.
Does that mean it's business time?
Yes.
It's adventure time?
It is adventure time. You never know what you're going to find.
What Anna didn't consider was that members of Cincinnati's close-knit German community were growing suspicious. They began talking about Anna, her activities, and the sudden deaths of many elderly men in her care.
Well, I was wondering, she's... it's not like it's an extended relationship with one person over years and then they happen to die. It's almost like she's accelerated her method, of what she's doing, ripping through people's money, getting close to someone in a very short period, they die. So it doesn't surprise me that people in the community would, for one, I think Anna is the type of person people would talk about anyway. She's kind of an asshole, and
she's got that air.
She thinks she's better than you. Yeah.
Pretentiousness.
Yeah. So that doesn't surprise me at all.
She's a looker.
She is yeah.
Allegedly.
So you're going to have your usual haters anyway.
Exactly.
And then you're going to have people who just think, hey, she meets somebody. 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, you befriend someone, gain their confidence, and get their whole estate.
Bamboozles them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like those damn jelly beans. Just bamboozles them.
Just like those jelly beans.
Although the coroner's report suggested Wagner had died from heart disease, his friends persuaded authorities to exhume the man's body for autopsy. Law enforcement visited Wagner's neighborhood, learning that his niece had only come into his life 2 weeks before his death.
His niece.
His niece.
Yeah.
Anna Marie, exactly, his niece. And that she had acted strangely. Some even mentioned how she had spent several hours alone in the man's apartment home after his death.
Oh, interesting.
Police met Wagner's neighbor, a woman named Olive Collier. Collier, unlike others, actually liked Anna, mentioning that this kindly nurse had brought her ice cream cones on several occasions, but authorities were alarmed when they learned Mrs. Collier had become very sick after eating some of Anna's ice cream offerings. She had to be admitted to the hospital. During the woman's hospital stay, someone had stolen jewelry and cash from her apartment, but there was no way she believed it was Anna.
Well, that just shows you how Anna operated. She's very
Depraved?
Oh, yeah, she's pretty scary, honestly.
Total psychopath.
As far as women, it's typically women who operate like this, not to be sexist, but as far as people who operate like this, from the outside, people that have relations or interactions with Anna think she's an asshole, more than likely, in multiple ways. But when she wants to, she can turn on that charm and just manipulate people. And so to the point where even when there's evidence or signs that something's not right, the person, they won't admit it.
She's a Jekyll and Hyde, totally charming, and is able to snowball these elderly people.
I want you to snowball me, baby.
maybe later.
Okay.
Let's talk about that right now.
All right.
I'm not even sure what that means.
I don't want to Urban Dictionary that.
But I am all in.
Oh.
Whatever it is.
So you don't even know what it is, but you're still willing to snowball me.
Look.
That's how deep your love is.
Look, you've worked like crazy shift hours and you've been on nights and away for so long. I feel very neglected.
So you're willing to...
I feel like a widow.
Just to have any physical interactions or contact, you're willing to do things that you can't define. And that's what you're saying, basically.
Girl has needs.
Yes.
Okay.
Ooh, baby.
I'm supposed to be in my sexual prime right now.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm really lazy.
You know, it's like lately.
I'm in my snuggling prime. All I want to do is just like curl up in my sweatpants under the blankets.
I know lately all we get to have is hallway sex. You know how that goes?
No.
That's where you just pass each other in the hallway and you're like, fuck you. You know?
Yeah.
It's sad.
It's true. Okay. Yeah. Now I'm feeling all randy thinking about passing by you. And telling you to go fuck off. Oh,
Damn.
But by now, Anna had already moved on to her next victim, 67-year-old George Gelman. It's like GS. I'm gonna say Gelman.
I think that's good.
So GS there in the beginning. Okay. He died on July 6th of 1937 and left Anna $15,000. There was no evidence connecting Anna to his death. Philip Hahn had returned to work at Western Union on the night shift. He could avoid being away from his wife as much as possible, working the night shift and going back to Western Union. He earned about $10 a week as a file clerk and a messenger. Hahn was keeping quiet, most likely to save his own life, even though he had serious reservations about Anna, her activities, and was suspicious of all of these elderly people suddenly dying and leaving her large amounts of money.
I feel bad for him. I mean, he's living in daily terror of his own wife, scared to death. I'm sure he's fairly certain at this point. And you know, he's seeing this from the wings. Anna, I'm sure she just, once she clamps onto a victim, she turns all her attention to them. She's going to spend all her time around them, gaining their confidence. And he's just watching from afar like, oh my God, I'm just glad it's not me.
Exactly.
He's poor guy.
This guy. Yeah, so what's it like living in daily terror of your wife?
You don't scare me. Yeah, don't get it twisted, folks. I run shit here.
Sure you do.
I'm just,
You know what we say in the South, Dylan.
Is that okay if I say that, baby?
Bless your heart. Bless it.
Oh,
he's so cute. You like to think it's in charge.
Oh, yeah. See,
that's my master manipulation, right? Yep. Is that I make you think that it's your idea and that you're in charge, but I'm controlling everything. Like the wizard behind the curtain.
You're the puppet master.
I am. Okay? I'm like Harry fucking Potter up in here. Anna met a retired cobbler named George Obendorfer. The man fell hard and fast in love with the beautiful blonde and jumped when she invited him to travel out west with her and Oscar. She told Obendorfer she wanted to find a new home where they could all live together. Moving very fast.
How many inheritances does she need? I mean, she's ripped through multiple what would be considered a small fortune or even a full-on fortune.
Yeah, but she spends it. She's making it rain at the horse track, at the casino.
Yeah, she does make it rain on the horses. That's true.
Yeah.
Just her and her entourage. They're all like in the VIP table.
Yeah, I'm getting visions of like Peaky Blinders.
Yeah.
And everyone's like wearing a hat. A big fancy hat.
She's just throwing money around.
Watching horses that are named, things like Bojack Horseface and stuff. I'm just kidding. Horsey McHorseface.
That's better.
I'm putting my money on Horsey McHorseface. When they arrived in Colorado Springs, he was so sick the man could barely walk on his own. While Obendorfer suffered excruciating pain in his hotel room, Anna and Oscar went out sightseeing at his expense. When the money was gone, Anna abandoned him at a Colorado hospital, telling authorities she'd never met the man before.
No, I know not whom you speak of.
Authorities questioned Anna. Now, her story changed almost every time they spoke, and police quickly ordered an autopsy on Mr. Obendorfer. They determined he had died from high levels of arsenic in his system.
Nice. I had a feeling at some point it was going to come out she was using arsenic because it was just readily available and easy to get your hands on back then.
The croton oil?
The croton oil threw me for a loop because I'd never heard of that one.
At the Park Hotel, the police learned Obendorfer had checked in with two unknown persons on July 30th of 1937. The owner of the hotel reported that someone had stolen 2 diamond rings valued at $300 from the hotel. After some investigating, police learned Mr. Obendorfer's female companion was named Marie Hahn, and that she had her son, a child named Oscar, along. According to the hotel owner, Anna had said she lived in Cincinnati and was in Colorado on vacation. When authorities wanted to question Anna again about the arsenic, she was gone.
Yeah, she's not going to hang around.
She hit the road.
As soon as the going gets tough, Anna gets the hell out.
Yet police managed to find several area pawn shops that said a woman and boy were trying to sell 2 diamond rings. She had also tried to withdraw a $1,000 payment of her, quote, husband's money in Colorado using an Ohio bank book. The woman claimed she was the wife of George Obendorfer. Authorities in Colorado issued an arrest warrant for Marie Hahn on suspicion of grand larceny in the theft of those 2 diamond rings. Back in Cincinnati, law enforcement was ready to arrest Anna the minute that she returned and arrived in the city.
So as soon as they laid eyes on her, they were ready to scoop her up.
Yep, so she gets questioned again about the death of George Obendorfer. Anna first denies knowing him, but they advised her she'd signed into the hotel with him in Colorado. So Anna claimed to have met him on the train from Denver. She told authorities she'd actually felt sorry for him because he was all alone and clearly not in good health.
Oh, and see, that's the whole thing. Maybe Anna's just been like living a life of philanthropy and just helping people and just doing the best she could for people. See, okay, so if I'm trying to ask you about someone, you're like, oh, I don't know that person, adamantly claiming you've never met them. And then you're like, well, yeah, I met them. I'm already like, well, why in the hell would you lie about meeting them?
This is why you take your advice from Shaggy. It wasn't me.
Ah, yes.
Right? It was not me. I don't know. I've never met this person. You have a photo of me with them? I don't know what you're talking about.
That's about the only words I understand that Shaggy says in that song.
It wasn't me. And he was like, Mr. Boombastic, I don't know the rest of the words because I'm spastic. My pants have elastic.
Just move on.
Zigga zigga, ah. Oh, wait, that was the Spice Girls. Okay, so.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Tour of 2000s music.
It was actually the 90s.
90s, whatever, dude. It doesn't matter anymore.
It wasn't me. It was, I think, 2001.
See, I think this is the first time in history we're not going to separate things by decades. We're just living one big, long, shitty period in life.
Well, since it's the 90s and the 2000s, I'm living La Vida Loca.
It's going to span
upside, inside out.
Multiple decades.
However, Cincinnati police had learned this gentleman was actually in good health while in Cincinnati, and that he was from Cincinnati. So it was very coincidental that Anna just happened to meet a fella from her hometown or, where she's from on the train, and he's single and she's single, and it just all works out, right?
So I think it's safe to say at this point, authorities are highly suspicious of Anna.
Exactly. And then they speak with his relatives who were like, yeah, he was in great health. That is until he started dating this woman named Marie.
Anna has so many haters.
She has so many haters.
People, family. I mean, she's walking away with people's...
she's like, I don't give a fuck. She don't care.
She's just running around scooping up people's generational wealth.
She doth not care.
Gosh, she's almost like the predatory capitalist system we live in.
Yeah, exactly. Obendorfer's relatives told police that that he had traveled to Colorado with Anna under the guise that she had owned a ranch in Colorado Springs. When confronted with this news, Anna admitted to knowing Obendorfer, but said they were nothing more than casual friends. Again, she claimed they met on the train and it was coincidental that they were both from Cincinnati. She said the man got sick when they arrived in Colorado Springs and went to the hospital. After that, she had no further contact with him, except to try to withdraw $1,000 out of his bank account.
Man, she knows nothing about the rings. He gave me the rings to hold for him to keep them safe.
I'm not sure if the rings belong to him or another guest in the hotel.
Okay.
Or the owner of the hotel.
Look, let's just act like it belongs to him.
Sure.
And act like I'm smart.
This bitch, she's just doing the most, Dylan.
When you were telling the story, and I thought it was winding down, when we start getting to death.
No, she keeps the train rolling.
Yeah, she just goes hard. She goes harder.
When poison was discovered, authorities in Cincinnati decided to exhume the bodies of Jacob Wagner and the Mr. Gelman fella. Initially, the medical examiner thought that Gelman had died from arsenic poisoning, but then learned it was actually croton oil, one of the many home remedies that was popular at the time. A small dose was unpleasant, but a large dose could be fatal. Now, croton oil could cause bloating, diarrhea, vomiting, and extreme burning in the throat and mouth. In Wagner's case, the man had died from arsenic poisoning. As police continued to investigate, the press went wild with stories, calling Anna the blonde Borgia after Lucretia Borgia, who poisoned her enemies in Italy during the Renaissance.
The press back then, they were so colorful.
Anna posed for photographs and spoke freely with the media, often with Oscar by her side. She was arrested and received a kind of celebrity status from the other inmates in jail, along with the guards. Stories ran about her life behind bars and the investigation. And this was kind of just as some of those true crime, magazines, the little pulpy magazines and stuff, were starting to kind of take root or kind of gain popularity.
And so Anna was sensationalized.
So these stories were making headlines and people were just eating it up. It was like a sick form of entertainment, much like our true crime today. After reading newspaper articles, other men came forward with stories about Anna. A 62-year-old man named George Heiss said he'd met Anna the year before and became ill after she'd served him a beer.
You can't let Anna make dinner.
A coal dealer, Heiss lived about a block away from Anna. Heiss said Anna claimed to have divorced her husband, and he ended up loaning her more than $2,000. His health began failing when he tried to collect the debt. Suspecting Anna had tried to kill him, Heiss told her to just stay away from his house. But of course, he never collected his repayment.
No, but it's...
he was never reimbursed.
It's funny how people seem afraid of Anna when they see a certain side of her. You know what I mean? They're just happy they're still alive. They don't seem to really go to, like her husband, for instance. Like, at what point do you go to authorities and say, I think my wife's into some really bad shit, But they're just like, please, just stay away from me and leave me be. And they're just happy to still be living.
By the time Anna went to trial, Heiss was confined to a wheelchair, suffering long-term effects of his illness. He was gladly willing to testify against Anna. So police continue gathering evidence against her. They search her home several times. Philip Hahn, hesitant to speak out against his wife, turned over a half-ounce bottle of croton oil. Philip said he had taken it away from his wife, suspecting she was trying to kill him. He actually kept the bottle hidden in his locker at work for more than a year while doing research about the drug. Nice. So had it locked away? I mean, this is wild.
Oh, I'm going to work, Anna, please. No, I don't want to eat breakfast. No, I'm not hungry. I don't know what accent.
Is that your German accent?
No, it's be like, I want some fricassee Deutsch. I'm probably going to offend the Germans. I don't want to offend anyone. No, that was actually an accent of an, so what I do nowadays is in this culture, in this cancel culture, that's an accent from a fictionary I'm sorry.
A fictionary?
A fictionary. A fictional country I just created in my head for the moment. Okay?
Sure.
It's called Pakistan.
At least you don't sound like a leprechaun, I guess. Authorities were able to track down a drugstore in North College Hill where Anna bought this croton oil back in July of 1936. She had told the pharmacist her husband was a German doctor and had used it in his practice, and this pharmacist remembered her. Like, she was memorable. People don't forget.
Yeah.
During a search of her home, police found an IOU note written to Albert Palmer for $2,000. It was signed by Anna. His family claimed that Palmer had been sick before his death, and there was a missing $4,000 from his estate. They had suspected the nurse Anna had taken the money.
A literal IOU.
Yeah.
Written out. That's awesome. I mean, that's not awesome. She's likely killed him. It's just... Well,
she did, yeah.
All right.
On August 10th of 1937, Ohio authorities arraigned her and charged Anna with the murder of Jacob Wagner. Fearing she would be extradited to Colorado, Ohio wanted to present the case against Anna Marie Hahn. On October 11th, her trial began. Her 12-year-old son Oscar and husband Philip were by her side. Philip told his wife, quote, "Regardless of our marital difficulties in the last few years, I absolutely believe in your innocence and will stick by you."
See, Philip's playing the long game in case this bitch beats this rap, and gets out. He's like, "Well, see, honey, I knew. Thank God, I knew you were innocent."
See, I would take this opportunity while she's under arrest to pack my shit and leave.
Yep.
And go as far away from Anna and Cincinnati as possible.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. No, just let's just keep her going.
Sorry for Dylan's
I apologize, folks.
huffing and puffing over there.
It's just a natural bodily function, and I just can't fight nature anymore. I had to sneeze.
And you just shit yourself? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
He pooped.
Oh, God, I'm so distracted. The jury was composed of 11 women and 1 man, which was kind of unheard of at that time.
11 women and 1 man.
Yes, to have women on the jury was surprising, but to have this majority female jury was like, whoa.
Now, that seems intentional, because I don't believe in my life to this day, and all the cases I've seen and dug through for just entertainment, 11 woman, 1 man jury. I've never heard of that.
The prosecution laid out its case that Anna had murdered Wagner for his money, and they even had a handwriting expert say that the will had been a forgery. Other witnesses were called in regarding the murder she wasn't charged for yet, including testimony from that guy George Heiss, the man that she had basically left wheelchair bound through poisoning.
So that would be a pretty effective witness. Hey, here's another guy who had a run-in with Anna, and his health
to tell the tale.
Yeah, and his health's deteriorated, and here he is, kind of sickly in a wheelchair. So that would leave an impression on, I think.
On November 1st of 1937, after being presented with a mountain of evidence, Anna's defense attorneys put her on the stand. For 3 days, Anna told her version of events about her relationship with Jacob Wagner. She refused to be tripped up on cross-examination. So she was good.
Oh, I'm sure. Like I said,
stand.
you have to be intelligent to be a con person or to be a high-functioning manipulator.
The Golden Globe goes to...
I think that's a term I just created. I'm on fire today. And but yeah, so it doesn't surprise me that Anna is able to hold her own against lawyers and stuff. Doesn't surprise me one bit.
Her lawyers were unable to sway the jury, though, and after 2 hours of deliberations, they returned with a guilty verdict. She would automatically face the death penalty for the murder of Jacob Wagner. At her sentencing hearing, the judge ordered Anna to die by electric chair on March 10th of 1938 at Ohio State Penitentiary in Columbus. As the only woman on death row, Anna was provided with a few comforts that were not normally given to male inmates. She was given a cast iron bed, a rocking chair, a table where she could eat her meals, and a private bathroom.
Oh.
Her attorneys filed many appeals. The Ohio governor, though sickened at the thought of sentencing a woman to death, did not intervene on her behalf. Anna seemed to believe up until the very end that she would not be executed simply because she was a woman.
Well, yeah, I think you've just went too far, Anna. I mean, you've affected too many people, that, and they're as non-normal. Is that right?
Abnormal?
Abnormal. Gosh, I'm sorry, folks.
This is what shift work will do to a man.
Yeah, I'm in zombie mode at this point. But anyway, as abnormal as is to kill a woman, I mean, it's just, this. I'm sure this story has been their OJ. Everybody's talked about it. I could only imagine the sensational headlines and the yellow journalism at work on this case. So I'm sure that people's like, we have to kill her. I mean, basically.
Well, this is during the Great Depression.
Yeah.
So this was like free entertainment.
Right.
Hearing about this murderous woman.
Yes, she is murderous.
Vixen.
You should write stories about Anna.
Well, I am right now. On the day of her, I'm telling you a story, Dylan.
Oh, yeah.
On the day of her execution, Anna sat with her nails polished and her hair styled.
And I'm sure there were some men just like, there's going to be a waste. They're going to kill a perfectly good piece of tail.
She wrote 4 letters. Although she had displayed no emotion at the trial, when it came time to make that final walk, she fell apart. Her legs were trembling. As she entered into the death chamber area, she collapsed on the floor and fainted. Awakened with an ammonia capsule, they lifted her up and strapped her to the chair. Anna cried and begged for release.
Oh, my God. That's cold, man. She's fell out. They could have just strapped her in and electrocuted her like she wouldn't even know, but they wake her up with some damn smelling salts. Like, oh, no, you're going to be awake for this.
Good for them.
Yeah, well, you shouldn't kill people.
Don't be a shitbird. She had professed her innocence until the end, but the letters included confessions of her crimes. 2 weeks later, her attorneys announced the letters had been sold, and the money was put into a trust for her son. The Cincinnati Enquirer purchased the letters, and they did publish those. Anna's son was placed into a foster home in the Midwest, with the money being used for his care. His new name or whereabouts were never released to the public. Philip Hahn had stood by his wife at trial, but was not around during the appeals process and definitely did not attend her execution.
Philip's free.
He, after the appeals process started, was spotted around Cincinnati with another woman soon after.
Philip finally made it, dude. He survived.
Anna's body was buried at the Holy Cross Catholic Cemetery in Columbus. Her grave was marked by a plain gray headstone made by inmates at the prison. And one of my resources for today was a book called it's written by Diana Britt Franklin, called The Goodbye Door.
Oh, nice.
And there were a lot of old newspaper articles I also read through and researched in order to write this piece today.
Yes, and she leaned heavily on my knowledge about Miss Anna to write her story as well. Didn't you? I'm one of your resources, ain't I?
I don't know how you're just spontaneously have this information in your brain, but
yeah, I know.
It's astounding.
Hey, I did not know anything about Anna.
Like a scientific anomaly. They will study your brain one day, Nolan.
Yeah, not for what you're saying. I did not know about Anna, and I cannot accept any credit for being a resource for this story. Let's have a little bit of a clarification there, folks.
You provide such colorful commentary.
Over the years of my life, this path that I've walked, people tell me stories. And they've said that very thing, that I'm the color guy. You know what I mean? I can keep a conversation that shouldn't even be happening. I can keep it going.
You're like a penis enhancement pill.
I am just like a penis enhancement pill. I mean, I've had that comparison many times.
You show up and you're sufficient, right? You're good enough to get the job done.
Adequate. I got it tattooed across my stomach.
But then here Dylan comes.
Yeah.
Not comes, but comes along.
He arrives.
He arrives.
Yeah.
On the scene, right?
It's true.
And he's like this little extra extend supplement that someone needs to just really take us there. And you do that for us, Dylan.
Well, are you saying I finish things?
You finish things.
I'm a finisher?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think everyone agrees with that statement. Right, guys?
Thank you.
They all concur.
Okay, thank you, folks. If you want to, when you think about me and you want to consider me a finisher, I guess I'll bear that burden for our listeners if that's how they want to think about me. But in all seriousness, thank you for the story. Anna was a monster. She was an uncaring, unfeeling monster who could pull many masks down and present herself to people and society. And she's got to be one of the most efficient.
Succubus? A succubi? She's a damn succubus.
She's got to be one of the most efficient confidence people, grifters, that I've ever heard tell of. As fast as she operated with some of these people. To go from not knowing someone to in 2 weeks, them dying and you getting their entire estate. I mean, I just don't even know how you do that.
We could ask my great aunt.
Oh, yeah.
Well, she's dead now, but I have a great aunt that it was kind of like an ongoing joke in the family.
Oh, yeah.
About how she was one of these women that would become a caretaker to some, a lonely old man.
And just
weasel
her way right in.
There was one guy in particular that for years she would visit him and take him food and take care of him. Now, keep in mind, she's a married woman, but people were always like speculating that she had something going on with this dude. And when that dude died, he left her everything, and he owned acres and acres of land, a nice house.
Oh, my
money.
God. Damn, son.
But that was not like the only person that she, I guess, had befriended over the years. But everybody would always laugh about, well, she was real, like she was greedy. She was just like hoarding the wealth.
Yeah.
And not spending it and not like living lavishly by any stretch. And so they would always be like, was she going to take it with her? It's like she's spent all this time, buttering up these people to get their wealth, but she's not even doing anything with it.
Man, I wonder if I could do that.
This is my Nana's sister.
Cuddle up to some gentlemen. I'm just gonna old men. I'm like, hey, you need anything else? What's that old man name?
Earl.
God, that's an old man. Hey, Earl, you need me to get that grass? I'll get it cut tomorrow. Yeah. So I'm gonna I'm gonna endear myself to him by just doing chores around the house and stuff. Not Anna's route, okay? Because I'm not this hot German chick.
I can't get you to do chores around this house.
Well, this is for our future.
I don't believe that you're going to do chores for some random man that's not touching your pee-pee.
It depends on how many acres this dude got.
I thought you were going to say it depends on if he touches your pee-pee. Dylan, you're a married man.
I'm not. I'd be like, you can't. Hey, Earl, look, I've told you before, Earl. I'm just trying to blow the leaves, buddy. Okay, that's all I'm trying to get done today.
He wants to whisper in your ear.
No, but it's disgusting. It's sickening.
It is sickening to think about you cheating on me with an elderly man named Earl
God.
Who's gnawing on your ear.
He's a land baron. Yeah, we're way out in the weeds now. No, but it's scary what Anna was doing. Very scary. And she just left a wake of
death and destruction.
And being the family of that being one of your loved ones, one of her victims.
Can you imagine?
Must be infuriating.
Yes, that's exactly what I thought, Dylan, is how angry would you be if you were one of these fellas' daughters or nieces, granddaughters, grandsons?
Yeah.
You'd have to be madder than hell.
Yeah. But at the same time, it sounds like, you get in these situations where you have an elderly person and they're kind of just coasting along by themselves and the family's not real close to them, I mean, that happens too. But Anna's legally stealing everything and there's nothing they can do about it. Once the wheel's like the golden, the iron rule, there's no going against it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's what they say.
What have you been watching? Game of Thrones
I
again?
made that up too. I gotta watch the last episode of House of Dragons. See, now I'm random. I'm very random.
I see that. Well, Dylan, don't forget, we have our 2023 True Crime Podcast calendar coming out.
Oh my gosh.
And all you have to do to procure one of those, we're having a pre-sale right now, is go to podcastcalendars.com. You are going to see that 2023 True Crime Podcast calendar that is on a pre-sale right now. If you go ahead and do the pre-order, you're going to get 10% off. And then when you use our code Mountain Murders, you're going to get an additional $5 off. And those are combinable savings, Dylan.
Whoa, that's stackable savings.
Totally. And this calendar is super cool. It's going to feature 12 indie true crime podcasts. So not only are you going to get a cool Mountain Murders month, but you're also going to have these other podcasts that you've probably never heard of and have all these new podcasts to listen to. And we're all so different. That's what's so cool about it.
Yeah. And I can't wait to listen to every podcast that's on the calendar.
Yeah, we're going to be sharing this calendar with Yield Crime, Cult Crimes and Cabernet, Forensic Tales, Reverie True Crime, which Paige is an excellent host, The Jury Room, which is another one of our friends, Beyond the Rainbow, which is true crimes of the LGBTQ community. There's Black True Crime. I mean, the list goes on.
Wow.
So it's like a little something for everybody. And I know we have a lot of true crime fans out there. They don't just listen to our podcast. So you're going to want to check out these other podcasts and get this true crime podcast calendar. Again, that is podcastcalendars.com.
Mountain Murders has the smartest, most bestest listeners. No
true.
offense to anyone else.
It's true.
It is true. So, it's a rainy, gloomy, scary day here today, right?
It is.
Ugh. And
is there like a point to that, or?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I just want to let everyone know that we love you.
And we're going to try to get our shit together and be back on a more like regular schedule. I know things have been wonky this last month with our move and Dylan's schedule, but we will try our hardest to get back to our normal release days.
Yeah, 3 weeks of night shifts won't affect anything. Straight. Yeah. I mean, that's just how normal people work. So we love everyone, and we can't wait. Heather's just working her tail off, digging up these incredible stories. We got some great stuff coming up out of Ohio, and I cannot wait.
We do, Dylan. I have the cases in the bag. I'm ready. We're going to do the damn thing.
Let's do it.
And we love Cincinnati.
I love
So actually
Cincinnati.
talking about Cincinnati makes me want to take a trip to Cincinnati.
I'm going to go.
We should.
It's only like 5 hours from here.
We love it.
Just go down there and kick it on the river.
Yeah, we're going to go to like our favorite little bars
Yeah.
in the Over the Rhine area.
Yeah.
We're going to go to the market and get a great filet mignon.
I'm going to go sit down by the water
Sit down by the water.
and look at the big ships.
Do it.
I love it.
They're not really big ships, but okay.
Well,
They're like little river boats.
there's some big ones. I've seen some pretty big ones.
Yeah. True to your manliness, Dylan. You kind of have a skewed version of what size is, but we're not talking about that now. Love you, Dylan, and of course love our listeners. I'm going to say it this time. We'll be back with a midweek. I have a little something different for us this week.
Okay.
So be on the lookout.
Let's do it.